Well, welcome back, my lucid dreamers. I'm here with my episode 2 of serial killers, but today we're going to touch on African American serial killers. Yes, us white people, we are crazy, but there is a lot of African American serial killers out there that no one even thinks about or really even know exist. So let's get this party started. One on our list today is Maury Travis, dubbed the infamous videotape killer. He was linked to the murders of over 12 S workers in St. Louis by investigators per Fox 2 News. He would lure the women to his home with money or illicit substances, and then he would tie them up and unalive them. After committing each unaliving, Travis would discard of the remains along the road and carried on this heinous act for 3 years. Whew. Police identified Travis after tracing his steps through a series of interactive maps and found his home. Bloodstains covered every part of his house, and various women's items were recovered in the basement, along with several videotapes that he recorded him torturing, abusing, and SAing his victims. Travis committed unaliving in his jail cell before he could be convicted. Number 2. Suspected serial killer gets alive. Elton Manning Jackson. Jackson wreaked havoc on the LGBTQ community for 10 years. His first victim was a gay man in 1997, and he was suspected of unaliving another 11 gay men. Authorities declined to name Jackson as a suspect in other killings due to the lack of evidence, but found his method of madness was identical in each case and all sexually motivated. Yeah, you get what I'm saying. He ended up being convicted in only one of the unalivings and was sentenced to life in prison, though he denied his involvement. Then we have Eddie Lee Mosley, dubbed as the RA Man. Mosley was accused of terrorizing the women of South Florida in the 70s. DNA linked him to dozens of unalivings and RAs in Fort Lauderdale, Florida. He was charged 3 times for RAs and was found not guilty in 2 cases. Like, what? And entered a plea deal in the 3rd. 2 innocent men were convicted for Mosley's crimes, one of them being the RA and unaliving of an 8-year-old girl. Oh my God, the depravity. Once police got him in the late 1980s, he was declared unfit to stand trial and was secluded to a mental hospital until he died in 2020. I see no justice in that. What do you think? Leave it in the comments. Next, we have Jake Bird, the AKA Tacoma Axe Killer. He had a lengthy record of burglaries and unalivings. However, he was caught after police responded to reports of screams inside a house. When they arrived, Bird ran out the back door barefoot, but was caught and arrested by the police. He was convicted of the first-degree unaliving of 2 Tacoma women and given the death penalty in 1947. While on death row, he confessed to over 40 more unalivings across the country that flew under the radar. He was hung at the Washington State Penitentiary in Walla Walla in 1949. Well, there's some justice, I guess. Next, we have Harrison Graham. One summer in 1987, Graham's neighbor complained to the landlord about the stench coming from Harrison's apartment. This really reminds me of a Jeffrey Dahmer situation. He was ordered to vacate the premises, but before he left, he boarded up his windows, his doors, and everything. He then fled from the fire escape, and the landlord called the police to break into the apartment. What they found were 2 unalived black women, blood splatters, and a slew of skeletal remains. Bones and body parts of other victims were also found in bags. For the following week, Harrison ditched the police until his mother convinced him to turn himself in. When he was arrested, he confessed to the unaliving of 7 women and was convicted in each case. Thank God. He received the death penalty, but was ordered to serve life in prison first, meaning he would never actually be executed. Good gracious. And now we have a female African American, Roberta Elder, the wife of Reverend William M. Elder, was not only responsible for his death, but also the unaliving of two of his children who she poisoned with her cooking. What is it with women and poison? I'm a woman and I don't get it. She was charged for their murders, but during the trial, it was found that her unalivings didn't stop at her household. She was accused of unaliving up to 13 people, including 2 ex-husbands and 3 of her own children, and a grandson, a cousin, and even her own mother. Well, she was sentenced to life in prison. That's it. Next, we have not just Deborah Brown, but also Alton Coleman. They began their unaliving spree when they lured 2 young girls into the woods in 1984. One of the girls was RA'd and the other was, well, suffocated and unalived. For the next 50 days, the 2 unalived 8 more people, RA'd 7, and kidnapped 3 more. The couple was sentenced to death, and Coleman was executed in 2002. However, Brown's death sentence was overturned. Oh my God. After the Attorney General attributed her actions to a mental disability. Yeah, but ain't we all crazy? Come on. Samuel Little is going to be ending this list. Even though I have about 12 other African American serial killers, this one really hit home, so I thought it'd be a good way to end out the video. Little is known, but he is considered the most prolific serial killer, not just because of his crimes, but because he confessed to a large number of unsolved unalivings in just 2 years before he died. Little had been killing since the 1950s, but he was sentenced for good in 2014 for unaliving 3 women in the 80s. His DNA was then connected to another string of strangulations. In the interview with the Texas Ranger, he confessed to many unsolved unalivings in over a dozen states, bringing up to at least a total of 93 unalivings. Now, that is a lot. So I really hope that you enjoyed my second episode. I will be bringing more, and if there's anything else y'all would like for me to research and make a video on, please don't hesitate and put it in the comments, and I will do my best. Again, I thank you for all of my viewers. Please like, share, subscribe, go check out my YouTube channel. And until next time, see you on the flip side.